Hi everybody, and welcome to When the Clouds Break. Another vlog from me. This time I'm going to look at why I started running at the age of 48 and what benefits I've gained from doing that. Thanks everybody who've liked, shared and commented on my videos over the last couple of weeks. I think the last couple of ones have been quite heavy, quite in depth, and I haven't done enough on exercise, which I said I would, so here I am talking about running. Why did I start running at the age of 48? That's a really good question. I think I've done what most, well, I'm going to be honest here, most blokes do, is that we're quite active when we're younger. We might play football regularly, and then as we get older, we have children, and our career takes a bit more of a front seat. We find it more difficult to juggle everything, and the one thing we do drop is exercise. I used to play football every Monday night, five-a-side, with friends of mine. I picked up an injury, which I'd had for some time, which was basically a thickening of my Achilles tendon, which made playing on a Monday was fine, but the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday were a bit uncomfortable. I then got a job in the city, which meant that I couldn't get back in time to play on a Monday evening, and it just sort of drifted. Although whilst I worked in the city, I did endeavour to keep relatively active. So I used to get off, for example, at not the nearest tube station, and I'd walk, and I would regularly do this fairly nominal 10,000 steps a day that people talk about. So it was unusual that I didn't do those 10,000 steps. However, I was aware that when I got in the bath, more of my belly was sitting above the waterline than was under it, and I was aware that I was getting wider and I was carrying more and more weight. Now, I know that exercise isn't the only factor in weight gain. Of course, it's still diet, which I'll look at in a future blog. So I tried to go running. I dusted down some old kit, and me and my daughter, in the winter, did a 1 mile block round from my home. And I was shocked because I found it so hugely difficult. And sorry, I can't keep looking at the screen because it's very uneven here. And frankly, I was embarrassed about how poor I was. So we went 2 or 3 times, just a little jog around the block. Then we both got colds, and that gave me the perfect opportunity to say, oh, I can't go running anymore because... And I stopped. But it was about a year later, I discovered the writing and the blogs of the likes of John Joseph, David Goggins and Rich Roll. And it was reading and listening to their podcasts that made me kind of realise that there was how important fitness is in terms of living a good quality of life. And a friend of mine had started running, and I'd watch him as I was heading to the station at 6:30 in the morning. I would see him out running. Although he was quite a bit younger than me, I was really impressed with the commitment that he was putting in. And actually that sort of added a little bit of, I suppose, shame to the fact that I was not making an effort to look after myself. So I decided I was going to start running. And I committed to it. But I wasn't going to half commit, I was going to do it. So I started with a fairly usual ambles that you'd get when you start running. So I'd do a 3k or a 3.5k or a 4k, and gradually worked myself up to 5k. I tried to couch to 5k, but it really didn't work for me because I wanted to run. And of course, couch to 5k will tell you to run and then walk, and it really wasn't what I wanted. Although I absolutely get that for some people that is absolutely perfect for them, and I'm not criticising that at all, but it just wasn't quite right for me. So I got up so I could run about 5k, and then another friend of mine said he'd always wanted to run a race with somebody. So there was that really great peer support that can be really helpful, and I talked in the second vlog about that connection with other people, and actually that peer connection can be really powerful. So I signed up to a 7k. I'd never run 7k in my life, but I thought if I can do 5, I can do 7. Now my mate Dave, he was very patient in waiting for me most of the way around until he disappeared off into the distance to finish ahead of me. But he also came back to encourage me, and I got round. And I'm not too proud to admit that when I got home I crashed into bed and stayed there for most of the afternoon. But I'd done it. And then we signed up for a 10k a few weeks later in very hot conditions and got around the 10k just about. What perhaps I didn't really think about the benefits of what I was going to get from running. I haven't really lost weight, I don't think, but it has changed my body shape, and that has really helped with my confidence. So I'll perhaps do a vlog on male body image at some point, because my fat collects somewhere that it meant I was ridiculed quite a lot at school. So my fat tends to collect on my chest. So whilst running hasn't helped that as such, it's helped my attitude towards myself and my confidence. That actually now I will happily put on a pair of swimming trunks or get changed in a dressing room and it doesn't bother me. In terms of my mood, people always talk about if you're depressed or you've got anxiety, you need to keep active. And actually you can't understate how good that's been. I've never gone out for a run and come back feeling worse mentally or emotionally than when I left. Even when I've hurt physically, my day has been much better as a result of going out running. And I have to say, I do wonder if without running I would have had the confidence to quit a job that made me unhappy, to try a different path, which is obviously the path that I'm on right now. So that's been really powerful. I've also made some other observations in terms of how my attitude to running. In that I remember one winter's day, I got out of bed on a Saturday morning about 8:30, got some running stuff on, the rest of the family's asleep, opened the front door, and it's hammering down with rain. And that's and my first thought was, okay, I go and take my trainers off, I go and get my running kit off, and I get back in bed. But as I turned around to take the first step back up the stairs, something inside of me said, that's not the right thing to do, you need to get out and do this. And I did, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And another friend of mine sent me a message saying he'd driven past me and congratulated me on the effort, which really was a real lift. The fact I come home I was soaking wet. But for me, running wasn't just about the physical, so it was about that mental, and it was about pushing back that mental barrier. So that part of the brain that says, oh, if you stop, it'll be comfortable. It may be comfortable, but if you're not in that happy place, then actually that doesn't do you any good. So it's really helped. I've seen running more as a mental battle rather than physical. I'm never going to be an athlete. I'm never going to be quick. In fact, my goal is to be able to run 10k in an hour, and I'm some way short of that. I finished a 12k rock bottom. The first aid cycle was circling me like a vulture, ready for me to stop, and I finished rock bottom. There was two medals left on with the people at the end, and I had one of them. Did I care about finishing last? No, because I'd done it. I'd gone out and I'd achieved my goal, which was to get around this race and get around this circuit. And that led me to one of my big challenges for this year. So my big challenge for this year is I'm going to run the Birmingham Half Marathon in October. I'm fully aware that it's going to be a huge challenge for me, and I'm going to find it really, really difficult. I'm doing it to raise money for Parkinson's UK, and I will drop I'll drop a link down below for the Just Giving page. And also now that my dad has passed away, I've got two people who'll be actively cheering me on, which is absolutely brilliant. So that's really my challenge for you. If you are a middle-aged man like me with a sedentary lifestyle, just taking some fairly simple steps to get a bit more active has a huge positive impact, far beyond I ever imagined. And we'll come back to this at some point, because I've said that I'll keep things as brief as I'm able to. But I just wanted to share that experience of me starting to run, and I will keep you up to date with my challenge of completing that half marathon in Birmingham. It's just beautiful to be out here actually, and if nothing else, vlogging has given me that great excuse to just be out in the sunshine and out in the woods. But have a brilliant day, and thanks very much for watching. Take care, bye.